Rush is a Canadian rock band made up of Geddy Lee, bass, vocals, and keyboard, Alex Lifeson, guitars, and Neil Peart, drums, percussion, and lyrics. Formed in 1968, the band went through several configurations until arriving at its longest and most popular lineup when Peart replaced original drummer John Rutsey in July of 1974, 2 weeks before the group's first tour of the United States. Alex Lifeson was born Alexander Zivojinovic to Serbian immigrants Nenad and Melania Zivojinovic and raised in Toronto, Ontario. He was born on August 27, 1953. His stage name of Lifeson is a semi-literal translation of the surname Zivojinovic, which means son of life in Serbian. His first exposure to formal music training came in the form of a viola, which he renounced for the guitar at the age of 12. His first guitar was a Christmas gift from his father, a 6-string Kent classical acoustic, which was later upgraded to an electric Japanese model. During his adolescent years, he was influenced primarily by Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Steve Hackett, and Alan Holdsworth. He explained in a 2011 interview that Clapton's solos seemed a little easier and more approachable. I remember sitting at my record player and moving the needle back and forth to get the solo in spoonful. There was nothing I could do with Hendrix. End quote. In 1963, Alex met future Rush drummer John Rutsey in school. Both interested in music, they decided to form a band. Alex was primarily a self-taught guitarist, with the only formal instruction coming from a high school friend in 1971 who taught classical guitar lessons. This training lasted for roughly a year and a half. With Rush, Lifeson plays electric and acoustic guitars, as well as other stringed instruments, such as mandola, mandolin, bouzouki. He also performs backing vocals in live performances, and occasionally plays keyboards and bass pedal synthesizers. Like other members of Rush, Lifeson performs real-time, on-stage, triggering of sampled instruments concurrently with his guitar playing. The bulk of Alex Lifeson's work in music has been with Rush, although he has contributed to a body of work outside the band as well. Aside from music, Lifeson is part owner of the Orbit Room, a bar and restaurant in Toronto. He's a painter and a licensed aircraft pilot. In Rush's early career, Alex used an ES-335 for the first tour, and in 1976 bought a 1974 Gibson Les Paul. He used those two guitars until the late 1970s. He had a Fender Stratocaster with a Bill Lawrence humbucker and Floyd Rose vibrato bridge as backup, and for a different sound. For the A Farewell to Kings sessions, Lifeson began using the Gibson EDS 1275 for songs like Xanadu, and his main guitar became a white Gibson ES-335. During this period, Alex used high-watt amplifiers. He played a 12-string Gibson B45 on songs like Closer to the Heart. From 1980 to 1986, Alex used 4 identically modified Stratocasters, all of them equipped with the Floyd Rose bridge. As a joke, he called these Henter Sportscasters, a made-up name inspired by Peter Henderson's name, who was the producer of Grace Under Pressure. He would start using them again 20 years later. He also played a Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion and an Ovation Adamus acoustic electric guitar. By 1987, he switched to signature guitars, Canadian-made, which, while awful to play, very uncomfortable, had a particular sound I liked. Alex primarily used PRS guitars in the later half of the 1990 Presto tour and again during the recording of Roll of the Bones in 1990-91. He would continue to play PRS for the next 16 years through the recording and touring of Counterparts, Test for Echo, and Vapor Trails, as well as the R30 tour. In 2011, he said that for the past few years he used Gibson almost exclusively, and there's nothing like having a low-slung Les Paul over his shoulder. In 2012, Lifeson abandoned his signature Triumphs in favor for custom-built Lawrence Omega Silver Jubilee clones, handmade by Mojo Tone in Burgaw, North Carolina, and Mason Boogie Mark V heads. He still uses the Hughes and Kentner core blades. For effects, he is known to use chorus, phase shifting, and flanging, and throughout his career, he had used well-known pedals such as the Electro Harmonix Electric Mistress Flanger, the Boss CE1 Chorus, the Dunlop Crybaby Wah, among some others. Him and his guitar tech, Scott Appleton, have discussed in interviews Lifeson's use of Fractal Audio's XFX, Apple Inc.'s Mainstage, and Native Instruments guitar rig. In addition to acoustic and electric guitars, Lifeson has also played the mandola, the mandolin, and the bouzouki on recent Rush studio albums, including Test for Echo, Vapor Trails, and Shakes and Arrows.